Hey guys, I am back again with another declassified file overview. This document goes over an incident in which a few F-4 jet pilots attempt to engage several UFOs. I also got lucky and found a few archived newspaper clippings that give us more perspective on the events that occurred, and we will take a look at those as we go through the main file. Really quickly, I'm about halfway to my first goal of 500 subscribers, and this is amazing to me. To be honest, I never thought I'd have the motivation to get over 100, but with all the interesting, supportive, and motivational comments from you guys, I've kept going. As a thank you to my subscribers, anyone who is subbed when I reach 500 is entered to win various prizes. There are items that vary from hoodies, statuettes, canvas paintings, kitchen accessories, socks, and more. I even have a few new items I'm adding to the giveaway, and I will describe those near the end of the video. Okay, now let's check these files out. The events that took place occurred back in September 19th, 1976 in Tehran, Iran. Two F-4 Phantom crews of the Imperial Iranian Air Force observed a series of strange airborne objects. One after another, there are a series of 4 calls that come into authorities from a nearby city reporting the very same object. The objects were described as bird-like, or helicopters with blinding lights, although there were none in the sky at the time. The officer on duty was unable to convince the callers that the objects were stars. He finally had to take a look for himself. As soon as he walked out, he observed something that caused him to immediately call in one of his F-4 jet pilots to investigate. The F-4 pilot that arrived first reported that the bright object was easily visible from 70 miles away. The pilot flew in closer, and as soon as he got close enough, his aircraft lost all instrumentation and intercom communications. He then broke off from intercepting the object to return to the home base. Immediately, the jet's systems returned to normal. The file describes as though he felt that the strange object no longer regarded the aircraft as a threat. A second F-4 was sent 10 minutes later. There were 2 pilots in this jet, and the backseater reported that he got a radar lock on the UFO. Upon reaching a similar distance as the first pilot, the object rapidly moved away to maintain its separation. Based on the radar readings, the object was the size of a KC-135. This is a large refueling aircraft. The UFO was described as having flashing strobe lights arranged in a rectangular pattern, and it would alternate to blue, green, red, and orange. As a side note, I was curious if anyone knew if there were any aircraft from that time period that had lights that would flash blue, green, red, and orange. I did some research and couldn't find anything definitive. Anyways, the F-4 continued pursuit south of Tehran, when suddenly a second brightly lit object detached from the UFO and headed straight for them at a high rate of speed. The pilot then attempted to fire an AIM-9 or AIM-9 missile, I'm not sure which, at the new object, but immediately lost power as he tried to launch it. Communications were also entirely lost. The pilot then had to turn and use a negative G-dive to escape, but the object was able to keep with him easily. As soon as the second object returned to the primary object, another object detached and headed straight towards the ground. The aircrew watched the third object, expecting a large explosion when it hit the ground, but it landed gently as it cast a large light over 2 to 3 kilometers of space. After returning to home base, they described their incident along with another description of a separate primary UFO as well. This separate primary UFO was different from the one that was referenced as being the size of a KC-135. It was cylinder-shaped and about the size of a T-33 trainer. It had bright, steady lights on each side and a flasher in the middle. They mentioned it quickly approached and passed over their F-4. The control tower that evening reported no other air traffic in the area, but they did have a visual sighting of the objects when they were directed to look. The following day, the crew flew out over the area where the object that landed was thought to be. It was a dry lake bed and nothing unusual was noticed. It says as they were flying back to base, an unusual beeper signal was received. I'm not sure what this means, but if anyone has any insight, please let me know in the comments. And this beeper was traced to a nearby house. They immediately landed and asked the inhabitants if anything odd occurred the previous night. They replied that there were very loud noises and bright lights. Arrangements were made to conduct radiation tests in the vicinity of the house. Sadly, results of those tests have not been reported. To me, this file was exciting to go through because this is the first documented example of a pilot attempting to fire a shot at a UFO. I wonder what could have changed throughout history if he had hit it and it crash landed. Or worse, if he hit it and it started some sort of space war. Anyways, that's it. If you stayed this far into the video and hear this part, please comment the secret phrase of hi, hi, hi exactly 3 times, and I'll be sure to jot your name down for an extra entry in the giveaway at 500 subs. Here are a few of the new items.